where in this tutorial we are going to learn some advanced topics about memory management in Java. So this is actually part 3 of tutorial. If you are interested in learning something advanced topic and if you are also preparing for some of the exam, then I think you should go through this tutorial. Now let's begin. So I have included everything in this tutorial in the form of questions and answers. Okay, so why I did so? So that it will be beneficial and just to increase the productivity of the tutorial, I thought this would be a good option. Okay, so let's begin. The first question is, what is the structure of Java heap and what is perm_gen space in Java? So the answer will be, in order to perform in garbage collection questions in any Java interview, it is important to have the basic understanding of Java heap space. Why so? Because if you're, going through any of the exam or preparing for the interview, memory management is usually one of our favorite topics, and the questions are actually asked from that. Okay. So what it says, by the way, heap is divided into different generation, example new generation and old generation. So as we have already studied in our first tutorial of memory management where we studied that heap is divided into a nursery part and a old part. So nursery part is a new generation and old part is the old generation and a perm_gen space. Okay, now what is perm_gen? Well, perm_gen space is used to store class metadata and filling of perm_gen space can cause java.lang. Out of memory perm_gen space. Okay, so it is actually simply used to store the class metadata. And what happens if you get this error, how to resolve it and how to configure? Well, we do have a option of JVM option to configure perm_gen space. Okay, so this will give you a Java revisited link. So let's open this out and see how we can configure JVM perm_gen space. Okay, so this site says everyone in Java development faces java.lang. Out of memory error now and then. Out of memory error in Java is one of a problem which is more due to systems limitation rather than due to programming mistake. In most cases, true in certain case, you could have memory leak which is causing out of memory error. Okay, so we have found that even though java.lang. Out of memory error is common basic knowledge, it is the cause and solution largely unknown among junior developers. Okay, so let's just directly jump to the solution, what it is explaining to us. Okay, let's read it from here. Out of memory error in Java is a subclass of java.lang. Virtual machine error, and JVM throws this error when it ran out of memory in heap. Out of memory error in Java can come anytime in heap, mostly while you try to create an object and there is no enough space on heap to allocate that object. Okay. So the types of memory error are two. One is Java heap space and other is perm_gen space. Okay. And what is the difference between the two? If you are familiar with different generation of heap and how garbage collection works in Java and aware of new and old perm generation in heap space, you would have easily figured out. Okay. So what it says is permanent generation of heap is used to store the string pool and various metadata required by JVM related classes. Okay, so perm_gen is used to store metadata as well as the string pool and also required by Java JVM related classes, methods and other Java primitives. Since in most of the JVM default size of perm_gen is around 64 MB, you can easily run out of memory. Okay, so is there any way to increase that size? Okay, well there is. Just directly jumping onto it, there is a parameter -x mx. Okay, so no matter how big your total heap size is, you can run out of memory, and the good thing is you can change the size of perm_gen using a option -xx perm_gen size. So if you give a -xx max perm_gen size also based upon your project need. Okay. Now one small thing to remember is that equals to is used to separate the parameter and value while specifying the size of perm_gen in heap. while equals to is not required when setting the maximum heap size. So if you do like export JVM args and if your setting is minus XMX 1024M, okay, this is your heap size, and pump space as minus XX, max pump size equals to 256M. Okay. So I'm not going into detail. I hope so you have got how we can configure. So this is a way you can actually configure your pump gen space. Coming back to our tutorial. Okay. Now let's go to question number 2. Okay. It says, how do you identify minor and major garbage collection in Java? Okay. Minor collection prints GC if garbage collection logging is enabled using verbose GC. Okay, so if you do a minor collection, so it will simply print whatever is there, and if you have enabled logging using verbose GC or minus XX, print GC details, so it will give you a details, okay. While major collection prints full GC. The garbage collection interview question is based on understanding of garbage collection output. As more and more interviewers are asking this question to check candidates' ability to understand GC output. Okay, therefore this topic is important, that how can you print minor collection and major collection in garbage while printing the output of garbage collection. Okay, what is the difference between para new and def new young generation garbage collector? Well, this garbage collection interview question is recently asked in one of my friend. It requires more than average knowledge of GC to answer this question. Okay. By the way, PAR-new and DEF-new is two young generation garbage collector. PAR-new is multi-threaded GC used along with the concurrent mark and sweep. Okay, while DEF-new is single-threaded GC used along with serial garbage collector. So these are the two methodologies, mark and sweep and serial garbage collector, and DEF-new is single-threaded whereas PAR-new is multi-threaded. Okay. If you are interested learning about these two in detail, you can go through a Google and check out. Fine. Then, how do you find GC resulted due to the system.gc? So, if you explicitly write this code system.gc, how will it impact? Okay, well, it says like there will be a word system included in the garbage collection output. So, if you do so, similar to major collection, there will be a word. First of all, this is used to invoke the garbage collector, and secondly, if you do that, then similar to major and minor collection, there will be a word system included in your garbage collection output. So we have covered 4 questions. Now let's go to the question number 5. Okay, it says what is the difference between serial and throughput garbage collector? Well, this is a very important question. So let's see what is the difference between serial and throughput garbage collector. Well, serial garbage collector is to stop the word GC, which stops application thread from running through both minor and major collection. Okay, so it is actually serial garbage collector is to stop the word GC, to stop application thread from running both major and minor collection. Serial garbage collector can be enabled using JVM option XX use serial GC, and it is designed for Java application which does not have a pause time requirement, okay, and have client configuration. Serial garbage collector was also a default GC before or in JDK 1.4, okay, and before Agronyms was introduced in JDK 1.5. Serial GC is more suited for application with less number of threads, while the throughput GG is more suited for large application. On the other hand, the throughput garbage collector is parallel collector, while minor and major collection happens in parallel, taking full advantage of all the system resources available like multiple processor. Okay. Though both major and minor collection run on the stop the word fashion, introduce pause in the application, the throughput garbage collector can be enabled using -XX use parallel GC or -XX use old parallel GC. It increases overall throughput of application by minimizing time spent in garbage collection. Okay. So, if you are able to explain this in any interview question, definitely the interviewer would be impressed. But make sure you do have complete knowledge because your interviewer may ask you cross questions. So this is just to let you know that you can, do more research on this. So I definitely recommend that you do some more research in serial and garbage report. Although this answer is a summary, but you should know the detail as well if you are going through a interview or any of the exam that will include memory management in Java. Now another important question is, when does object become eligible for garbage collection in Java? Well, this is really common question, and even if your exam does not properly contain the advanced topic of memory management, this question can still occur because it is also one of the basic questions. Okay, so now let's see what it is saying. It says an object becomes eligible for garbage collection when there is no live reference for that object or it cannot be reached by any live thread. The cyclic reference does not count as the live reference, and if two objects are pointing to each other and there is no live reference for any one of them, then both are eligible for GC. Also, garbage collection thread is a daemon thread which will run by JVM based upon GC algorithm. When runs, it collects all the objects which are eligible for the GC. So you see what it is saying, whenever there is any object which is not having any reference, which is open to be collected, will be eligible for garbage collection. So that means there should not be any live reference to the object, or that object cannot be reached by any live thread. Okay. And if there is a cyclic reference, we do not count it as a live reference. Okay. And if two objects are pointing to each other and there is no live reference for any one of them, then both are actually eligible to garbage collection. And since garbage collection is a daemon thread, so it is a last priority thread and it's keep on running on the background. Fine. So this was, pretty basic question that you should know even if you are not preparing for the advanced topic. Okay, then what is finalized method in Java and when does garbage collector cause finalized method in Java? Again, it is one of a basic question. You should know the answer of this. Well, finalized method in Java, also called finalizer. Okay, we also call it as finalizer, is a method defined in java.lang.object. It is already defined in object class and it is called by garbage collector before collecting any object which is eligible for GC. So just before collecting the object or just before running the garbage collector, this method runs. And what does it do? Finalize method provides last chance to the object to do some cleanup and free any remaining resources. Okay, so if you are, intending to call garbage collection, or even if you are not intending and you have written a finalized method, so just before your garbage collection runs, if you want to make more objects eligible for garbage collection or you want to do anything that, just before garbage collection, this is a method where you should do that. So this is a purpose of finalized method which is defined in the object class. Then we have another question which says, if object A has a reference to object B and object B refers to the object A, apart from that there is no live reference to either object A or B, thus they are available for garbage collection. Well, what it is saying is that there is an object A which is having reference to another object B, and object B is also referring to the object A. So will they be eligible for garbage collection? Well, an object becomes eligible for garbage collection if there is no live reference for it. It is not accessible from any thread and cyclic dependency doesn't prevent an object from being garbage collected, which means both the objects are eligible for garbage collection. Why so? Because none of our thread is pointing to it. There is no live reference, and since it's a cyclic reference, so that doesn't count as live reference. Fine. So in this case, it will be eligible. So this is a follow-up of previous question. It can be asked as a follow-up question in your interview. Fine. Then we have another question which is, can we force garbage collector to run at any time? Well, you cannot actually force your garbage collector to run at any time, but you can request. So there's a difference between forcing and requesting. Force means guaranteed run, but request means you are requesting it may or may not run. Okay. So how can you request? You can request it by calling system.gc, okay, or runtime.getRuntime.gc. How you can call system.gc and runtime.getRuntime.gc. Okay. It is not guaranteed that GC will run immediately as a result of calling this method. Why so? Because it might be in, something important. It might be doing something that is more immediate. So that's why it won't call immediately, but it has accepted your request, and as and when it gets the chance, it will do so. Okay. So this is how you can invoke garbage collector yourself, but it is not guaranteed that it will be invoked there on itself. Okay. Then we have another question which says, does garbage collection occur in permanent generation space in JVM? Well, this is a tricky question. It is asking us, can the garbage collection also occur in perm-gen space? So if you are aware about perm-gen space, then you can say, otherwise it will be difficult to answer. And well, the answer for this would be that garbage collection does occur in perm-gen space. If perm-gen space is full or cross a threshold, it can trigger full GC. Okay. If you look the output of GC, you will find out that perm-gen space is also garbage collected. This is why correct sizing of perm-gen space is important. Okay, and we have already seen that how we can control the size, that is using XX perm-gen size to XX max perm-gen size option. Now, next question is, how do you monitor garbage collection activities? One of my favorite question also, and it also actually, whenever interview actually wants to check if you have ever seen an output or you have ever monitored, so it is a right question. So the answer for that will be, you can monitor garbage collection activities either offline or real time by using the tools like JConsole, Visual VM, okay, VM whether it's Visual GC plugin to monitor real-time garbage collection activities and memory status of JVM, or you can redirect garbage collection output to a log file for offline analysis by using xlogGC less than. So this is how you actually write the less than and then path and greater than JVM parameter. Okay. Anyway, you should always enable GC option like print GC details, X verbox GC and XX print GC timestamps, as it doesn't impact application performance, but it is useful to monitor how your memory management is happening in your application. Okay, so this is a output where it is in a form of question, but it is just to show you the output of garbage collection. So this is like how it is getting printed in garbage collection console, and you can see it's starting from GC to para new. So it is actually using para new, and it is giving some of the like the size of it, and then the timing. Okay, again some size timing, and then there on you can have like the user, the real times, and these parameters in the output. So these were some of the important questions. I have also included few short questions over here. So let's quickly go through each of them one by one and see what is the answer. Well, the first question is this output of major collection or minor collection? So this thing, is it a output of major collection or minor collection? Well, it's a minor collection because of the GC word. In case of major collection, you would see full GC. Since we are only using GC over here, so it is a minor collection. Okay. Second is, which young generation garbage collector is used? So I think you will be able to guess that from seeing the output. Well, the output is of multi-threaded young generation garbage collector, which is para new. So since para new keyword was used, that's why we are able to guess it that it's a multi-threaded para new, which is used along with CMS concurrent garbage collector. So para new keyword is there. Then, what is the size of young generation, old generation, and total heap size? Well, this is also you can identify from here, and the answer of this would be 1512K, which is written in bracket, is the total size of young generation, which include Eden and 2 survivor space. Okay, 1512K on the left of arrow is occupancy of young generation before GC, and 64K is occupancy after GC. So before GC this is the occupancy, and once GC has reigned, 54K is the occupancy. On the next line value, if bracket is total heap size, which is 600345K. Okay, so you can see over here, this is before GC, this is 64K is after GC, and this size would be the total heap size. And then if we subtract size of young generation to the total heap size, we can calculate the old generation. This line also shows occupancy of heap before and after garbage collection. Fine. So you can, I hope you are able to relate the answer from this output. Then next question is, how much memory is freed from garbage collection? I hope you will be able to guess that. Well, we have already answered in the previous question that if we subtract the right side, that is 1359K, to the value on the left side 15604, we can get the total freed memory. Okay, because the second line actually shows the heap occupancies before and after. So by subtracting this from this, we can actually get the heap occupancy. Next question is, how much time is taken for garbage collection? Well, this is also printed over here. If you can see that there is some seconds that is getting printed. Okay. So the output is of multi-threaded young generation garbage collector, which is 0.0636056 seconds on the second line, denotes the total time it took to collect dead object during garbage collection. It also shows the time taken for GC young generation, which is shown in the first line. So the second line will show you the time of garbage collector, and the first line will show you for the young generation heap collection. Okay. Then next question we have is, what is the current occupancy of young generation? So this we have already seen in the first line, which is 64K. Okay, so that's why the answer is 64K. Okay, so that was the occupancy of young generation. So this was a gist of important questions that could be asked to you if you are studying for any exam or interview which is having memory management. Although some of the topics are advanced, but if you are an experienced developer or if you are studying for an advanced exam, then this is something you should prepare for. Okay guys, thank you very much. Thanks for attending this tutorial. Let's meet in the next tutorial. Thanks.